friends, welcome to the cold chain training and the various modules we have discussed earlier. Now, in this module, I shall be talking about the identification, traceability and the product recall. When the transportation and even in the storage ecosystem of the products, we'll see the different kind of dynamics of the products even during the transportation or in the warehouse or even in the cold store. In the context of product, when we'll see the product flow, that is the dynamics, we can see the producer, which producing, that may be specifically for the products and it may be related to the agricultural produce as well. Then the manufacturer informations and thereafter the dealer and who are distributing the product, and it will go to the retailer, and at the end the persons who are using it, that means we'll be talking about the end user. And the product traceability, when we'll see, then we will see that how the information flow is there, and that information, how it will be used to address the complaints and address the situation of the products, and that may be the customer related informations, customer related issues, and that we can see in terms of the forward traceability. Okay, and when we see the backward traceability, that is related with the supplier, so we can have three different components. One is the product flow, and in terms of the food traceability, we can have the information related to the supplier, or that is related actually with the backward traceability, and the information related to customer, which will deal in terms of forward traceability. Now let us try to understand actually the meaning and the understanding of the terms which are involved in this module. So food traceability is the ability to follow the movement of a product and its ingredient through all steps in the supply chain, both backward and forward, which we have discussed just before. What kind of informations will be dealing, and will be the major stakeholder under which will be dealing the backward traceability and the forward traceability. So traceability involves documenting and linking the production, processing and distribution chain of food products and the ingredients as well. We often see that the perishability condition of the products, which are even for the agricultural produce, or even for the products which we are making and we are transporting through the cold chain. Okay, so in that situation, if the products are actually perishable, non-perishable, we need to have the informations about the product, how it is going to be changed. That means the factors like temperature and the different gas composition, how it is affecting the products, and if any kind of changes in the product is there, then how you have to trace it, how you have to know the information related to the changes. So due to the perishable nature of the products handled in the cold storage, the traceability is crucial in cold chain, but it is definitely essential to all the aspects of supply chain management as well. So in order to manage properly the products which is being transported, or the products during the supply, we need to have the all kind of informations, right? So that information tracking and the traceability is very, very important and crucial in order to have an excellent supply chain system. We'll see that from the input supplier to the consumer, that is end user, many more informations are there. Okay, which we can see that it may be very small, but the moment when we'll see the complex nature of this whole supply chain ecosystem, then we can find it is related from the input supplier and it is going to end at the consumer. So what kind of informations we can have and what kind of informations are required and associated with the input supplier? We can have the crops related informations, what kind of fertilizers are used during the production of the crop, and pesticides, machinery involved, supplier farmer transactions. So this kind of some informations are there. Many more also, many parameters are there which we can think of. The moment when we'll go for the information and the inputs which are related with the producer, so it may be farm, maybe the farm practices, cultivation practices, weather conditions, because these all parameters are affecting the production as well as the quality of the agricultural produce. The next one, it will go to the industry where the processing is done. So processing, here we are talking about the value addition when we convert all the raw materials which into the products which are consumable and which is definitely having the higher prices, and we can reduce even the losses through this processing concept. So at the processing industry level, we can have the information like what kind of factory it is, what kind of equipments are there, processing methods, batch numbers, product factory producer and factory distribution transactions as well. So at the processing, when the products are being processed and many more products are available after this process, and how it is going to be distributed. Okay, so distribution related informations and the input parameters may be shipping details, storage conditions, followed trajectories and their duration, the distributors, retailers and the distributor transaction as well. So these all informations are also required, and it may be in terms of that bottom up tracking, and sometimes we can have the top down tracking. Okay, so now the retailer, so where the food quality, quantity, expiry date, storage conditions and the time spent on shelf life, and the last definitely all the information related to the food item across the supply chain. So the many more components are involved during the supply chain, and we need to have the many more informations in order to know the status of even the raw material and even the products as well, so that we can identify the products. As in the topic itself, we have seen that it may be identification, traceability, and on the basis of these informations we can even recall the material as well. Next slide. Now we see how do we monitor actually the cold chain, that is supply chain specifically, where the cold system is involved, right? So to ensure that temperature, because here in the cold chain the temperature is very, very important, right? What kind what is the real temperature, how it is related with the even the produce, because the different produce are stored at the different temperature, and the produce generally behave differently at the different temperatures. So the combination and the important and the optimum temperature selection is very, very important. That is why we often used to say that in the cold chain, how do we monitor that temperature? Okay, so to ensure that particular temperature of the cargo is within the acceptable range. So when we fix the temperature for the particular produce or product, then that particular temperature or even the range of temperature, whether it is being maintained or not. So this we have to ensure it. Load reactions which are related to the temperature can be minimized, definitely. Reports that are critical, for example, for determination of time and locations, are provided. Other factors like fuel sensors should be available for data collections and the warnings, so that we can even have the idea whether the supply chain ecosystem, the machinery, and even the van, which is properly in the safe condition or not, and we are having the proper informations of the location as well as the equipment, and along with that we can have the proper information of the vehicle. Tracking of mileage and the engine hour is also important. It is important to send, save, and analyze transport data. So this data will enable us to document it, and which will actually help us to track the situations of the vehicle condition and keep records. So all these information must be documented, so that which can be further utilized to track the situation. Next slide. Central temperature monitoring system, which is very crucial. So these specific systems include incorporated alarm and auto dialer features that are programmable temperature and event loggers. It contains temperature sensor, door open sensor, voltage sensors, logger unit, base station, PC, alarm, auto dialer, application software, and mode of operation functions in it. So many more input parameters are there, and many more sensors are there, which are actually employed to gauge out the temperature at the different location and the different situations as well. Similarly, for cold chain transportation, data loggers are used for monitoring, and the different even monitoring system, maybe even Ambitronics, Hanwell are some of the companies which provide monitoring system solutions for the cold chain. The smart view is GPRS, General Pocket Radio Service, and the radio frequency based internet gateway, which is adequate for monitoring of cold rooms. Now let us see how do we identify the farm produce, right? So material required for identifications, we can have the arrangements for lot labeling that contains lot numbers, labeling stickers, etc. Arrangements for the lot number organizations, that may be the logs, database, etc. A farm field map for identification of locations. Okay, so next is the workers' identifications and their names who are packing and harvesting produce, so that if anything is happening with the product, we can track at least who was the persons, and these informations will help even to increase their skill and to track the understanding of the particular manpower, and that manpower again may be trained or maybe even evaluated in order to increase the efficiency and to ensure the quality of quality of the product. What kind of procedure we can have? Okay, so each lot that of farm sales should be labeled as a result of this procedure, and there are several approach we can have. That is, the unique lot number should be assigned to each commodity, and this information must be collected for each lot, like even the commodities and their type, suppose Roma tomato and remain lettuce. So the different varieties also there, and in the particular variety we can have the even different lot number and different categorizations, right? So farm where it is produced, that kind of information is also important. Field where the product is originated, date of harvest, identification of harvest crew, and even the packing house used. So we must have the information where it has been packed. In order to know if it is packed, then what was the actually temperature, what was the RH of that particular house where it was packed, so that we can have how much interaction of the air and with the product would have been taken place, in order to know the firmness of the product as well and the quality of the product, right? So date of packing, that is also important. If different than harvest, otherwise generally if the moment when it is harvested, the packing may be done, but sometimes it is different, that definitely must be mentioned, so that we can know, yes, there is a difference between the date of harvesting as well as the date of packing. Because if the more differences are there, definitely we are going to have some compromises with the quality as well. Okay, so crew assigned for packing if different than the harvest crew. Now let us see identification. How do we identify it actually in terms of, because the different numbers are given, what is the meaning of different numbers, that can also be done for the different products as well, right? So type of commodity, suppose it is M05, the field where the product produced, that it's given 03, and date of harvest 154, of okay, of harvest crew, that is 02, like different suppose we have given the code numbers, and these codes are mentioned at the particular product. Then we can track what is the date of packing, what is the even date of harvest, or even the harvest by the crew, and the type of commodity. So codes are there, and through these codes we can track out and we can identify the products, and that information like it is there in the as I have discussed, and which is available in this slide as well. Now if any tracking system is there and any traceability system is there, so it is acting or it is working efficiently or not, this is very, very important, right? So every traceability system should be tested. It must be tested to make sure whether it is working effectively or not. One way to do this is to contact the customer and ask about a particular lot code, and we can go back to find out the information. Lot information has to be taken for customer, and how many of the lot remains in their facility and how many they have sold. So these all informations can be found out, and thereafter it can be matched with our informations in order to know the actual informations about product. Match the informations with your farm informations and maintain the records. So through this, we can traceability matrix, like we can see the visual progression, forward traceability, manage links, reverse traceability, 100% test coverage, and the validations. So these so all the testing of the traceability system and these all traceability matrix, this can be correlated, okay, and it must be synchronized in a way to find out the actual situation and actual information of the products, and through this we can identify and validate actually and then to find out the traceability system whether it is effective or not. So one, in the form of case study, we can see like blockchain traceability in food. So, and this is actually employed, and it is very effectively done in the Walmart pilots, okay, where an internal team needed 6 days, 18 hours and 26 minutes to track a bag of mango slices, and they had bought from Walmart, according to Fortune. Walmart started a pilot program to test blockchain for traceability as a result of this, and according to Fortune, the blockchain pilot was able to follow the sliced mangoes from a Mexican field to a hot water treatment facility, to an importer, to a US processing factory, to a cold storage facility, and finally to Walmart. So how it was moved throughout this transport or throughout this logistics. So the different locations are there and different situations were there, and these informations can be explored by using the blockchain traceability system as well. So blockchain technology can reduce the time required to track those sliced mango to only 2 seconds. So this is very, very effective, and this technology can be used in order to know, or in order to find out, or in order to trace the product status. Traceability of meat products by RFID. So radio frequency identifier, which is there. So radio frequency identifications we can also use, and that can also even give the proper information of the products, okay. So we can have the RFID devices, buffalo calves identified with RFID tags. So you can see in the slide that many more examples are there, and by using the radio frequency identification system we can know the actual for example the figure 3, which is indicating the slaughter of the tagged and enrolled buffalo, okay, and figure 4, which is indicating the reading of tags using RFID reader in the slaughter line, and figure 2, which is indicating the buffalo calves identified with the RFID. So many more informations we can have by using the RFID. So we can think definitely about the RFID, and which can be explored for tracking and traceability of the meat products and even the source of the meat, right? Another system we can use like barcoding. So it is an optical machine readable representation of data. In India, it is generally used for pricing of the commodity, but not for the traceability. GS1 standard in barcoding, widely adopted in India for barcoding. MSME provides financial aid for using GS1 standard in barcoding. So nowadays, we can explore the barcoding concept as well in order to trace the product. Now, identification, just like one case study kind of things, and even for understanding the whole complex situation. Okay, even where location of, and where what is the product number and how it is going to be sold, and where it was sold, what was the amount, okay, what was the GSTIN number, like this, the different things we can know by using this concept. I mean traceability system, right? So identifying what kind of identifications we can do, global location number, like, so it is for the manufacturer, items, case, pallet, transport, distribution, many more informations we can gather, and we can capture, and the same informations can be shared as well, and this is all actually related with even the traceability, right? QR code. As QR code is scanned, it can provide producers and the product informations, unique traceability identification number, location and name of the producer and the auditing organization, right? So it is now it is becoming very popular right now, and you can see the most of the products are having their QR codes. You just scan it, you can find out the information of the products, what kind of information that can be, maybe the location and the name of the producer, and even that organizations has been approved and audited by some particular organizations. That information can also we can have. So QR code based traceability in different agriculture products can also be explored. APEDA, which is a very popular agency in India. Okay, so APEDA has come up with new traceability system solutions in India. For example, GrabNet, TraceNet, etc. GrabNet gathers, maintains, and publishes forward and the backward traces as well as data on quality assurance, and is entered by stakeholders including exporters, labs, PSC authorities across the grape supply chain in India, right? And the TraceNet does the similar operations for organic supply chain in India. So we can we have seen the GrabNet and the TraceNet, both kind of tracking systems, traceability system we can use, but it is specific for the products as we have seen, right? So traceability like other system maybe like Hortinet, Peanut.net, TraceNet, Meat.net, Basmati.net, and the farm organizations app. So many more system we can have that may be digital system, and which will give us the proper informations of the products. Now, since we are having all kind of these informations during the traceability, so on the basis of this these informations we can go for the food recall, and food recall is one of the important component in the processing or even any kind of industry. When any kind of complaint is there, any kind of any malfunctioning, any situations, to address the complaints and the malfunctioning behavior as well, and any other kind of situations are there, so that recall concept can be used on the basis of the traceability informations that we are having about the products, right? So food recall means the actions to remove food from the market at any stage of the food chain, including that posed by the consumers. A process shall be available for effective facilitation of the withdrawal and the recalls. Companies should inform manufacturer or owner of products where products quality and safety issue is evident during storage or the distribution, right? So communication of this intimation must be retained, and these procedures should be capable of being operated at any time, appropriate and formalized. Procedures should be tested annually so that we can ensure that our this traceability and on the basis of those informations our food recall system is working efficiently, right? So in complete sense we can say that the traceability system which gives us the ample amount of the informations which can be used to address the any kind of situations in the coming future, and on the basis of those informations we can ensure the product recall or the food recall. I hope this specific module would help you to understand the traceability of the product and their recall during the cold chain supply logistic system. Thank you.